Hi, welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. My name is Kristin Omdahl, and I'm glad to have you here in my beautiful tropical backyard. Oh, wow, we're going to have both kitties join us tonight. If you're joining me live, please say hello and let me know if you're crafting tonight. Let me know where you're from, or ask me any questions you might have. If I have answers, I will give them to you. Move that out of the way. Hi, Joe. Thanks for joining live. Joe's crafting on dinner. Very nice. I made sirloin steak, jasmine rice, steamed broccoli, and Caesar salad for dinner tonight. Hi, Judy. Thanks for joining live. Good evening. It looks so much brighter on camera than it really is here. It's not bright at all here tonight. It's getting actually quite dark. The virus has caught Christine. I couldn't catch all that. Something about a virus. Hi, Renee. Hi, Brenda and Terry and Lisa and Barbara. Thanks for joining live. Sunset, I think the sun's already set, so it's probably going to get dark rather quickly. We're probably going to be done doing podcasts at 7 p.m. outdoors pretty soon. So we'll either need to figure out a different time for the evening podcast or a different time in general, or do them in the studio because it's going to start getting dark here pretty soon. Hi, Creative Cat and Terry. Thanks for joining live. Hi, baby Bjorn. You coming to say hi? Hi, Christine and Jacqueline. Thanks for joining live. Welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 505, and we're live in Southwest Florida. Hi, Holly and Judy, Brenda, Sandra, Barbara, Creative Cat. Hi, Joanne. Thanks for joining live. Hi, Cardinal Lover. So as promised in yesterday's podcast, I have more colors and new yarn to share with you tonight. So everything that I dyed this week is now live and available on my website. I showed you Be So Cozy. Let's see, last week I showed you new colors in Be So Lush yarn. Then yesterday I showed you new colors in Be So Cozy yarn and Be So Lush yarn. And I promised that today I would show you new colors in Be So Toasty yarn, and that I was going to have one more color in Be So Soulful yarn. So we can get started now, I think. So this is the new color in Be So Soulful yarn, which I'm calling Shale, and it just has such great earthy colors to it. It's a soft black with some soft burgundy and some soft teal. It is just gorgeous, and I think it would be absolutely spectacular for unisex or men's items. So if you're thinking about making any hats, scarves, or fingerless mitts for the men in your lives for holiday, I highly recommend this color for men. It is very rich and very sophisticated and neutral, right? It's really, I think it would be really great for some simple stitch work, 'cause I think men really like simple stitch work as well. They don't like things to get all fussy like we do. So some simple stitch work, even if you just did a simple rib stitch or a simple stockinette for knitting, or a simple single crochet or half double crochet stitch work in a scarf and a hat and fingerless mitts, you really couldn't go wrong with simple stitches and this beautiful colorway. So this is my sock yarn Be So Soulful, which is bamboo and Serona blended together for this lofty and super soft blend of number 2 sport weight yarn. So it would make fabulous socks too, and one hank, which is a center pull ball. When you buy it, I wind everything for free. One ball is enough to make a pair of socks. Otherwise, you would need a couple of them if you were going to do a hat and scarf combo. But that's the new colorway Shale. So there's a bunch of other colors available as well, but I just wanted to show you the new color tonight. Then in the Be So Toasty yarn, which is the bamboo and merino wool yarn blend, that is fingering weight, #1 fingering weight. I've got some new colors. So we have the creamy white enchanted jasmine, which I forgot to bring. It's in my office. This is Orchid, which is a beautiful semi-solid. So there's different variations of the orchid color. Super pretty. And then we have Aqua. It is incredibly soft. And then we have Lapis Lazuli. I used to have a ring made out of that stone, and that's what this reminds me of. In fact, I lost that ring at a beach one time. And this is gray flannel. And you'll see that these yarns actually look really pretty together as well. So we've got Orchid, Aqua, Lapis Lazuli, and gray flannel. And these colors are, and I have a creamy white, which would go with any of them as well if you wanted to do some color work. Yeah, I have 2 new orchids on the back table over there. Definitely that's what's inspired the orchid colorway here. So a friend of mine gave me that candle holder. Let me go grab it. A friend of mine gifted me with a candle holder the other day. It's so cute, and it matches the table over there. The table has palm leaves on it and stuff. And she said she saw this and thought of me, and it's this candle holder with a candle inside, but it has a palm tree and the palm, what do you call it, trunk, and then it has these crystals hanging off of it. And when she gave it to me and said she thought it would be perfect on that table, which she's right, I put it up there. I'm like, it needs some plants. So I went to, where did I get them? So I went to Trader Joe's one day for groceries, and they had their orchids on sale for $9.99 a piece. So I couldn't choose between those 2 versions of the orchid back there. There's the medium pink and then the darker pink, and so it looks so cute to have this candle holder centered between the 2. And so when I look out the door, that's what I see when I look out the door. So cute. Anyway, so that's the story behind all that. And so you can get this colorway. Yeah, it is so cute together, isn't it? And as soon as it starts cooling down out here, I'm going to be able to turn on my fire pit and light the candles. It's going to be so awesome out here. Probably do some Create Zen videos when I can turn the fire pit on too. That'll be fun. And maybe do some podcasts by firelight. Won't that be cool? Even early morning or evening. As soon as it cools off, I'll do maybe some podcasts with the fire pit too. It'll be super fun. This color orchid also comes in Be So Cozy. So you can get it in the #4 worsted weight or in the #1 fingering weight. #4 worsted weight is Be So Cozy. #1 fingering weight is Be So Toasty. But that orchid colorway comes in both. Does anybody have any questions about what we've talked about so far? Or want to see anything up close or anything like that? I'll wait before I move on to something else. Okay, baby Bjorn wants to come say hi, don't you, baby? You want to come say hi? Maybe. Maybe, maybe not. Say hi. Hi. Okay, Lapis Lazuli and Aqua together. Yes, definitely pretty. Holly, I'm guessing you mean for the #1 fingering weight yarn, what size crochet hook or knitting needles? It would be whatever you were comfortable with for a #1 fingering weight yarn. So depending on what kind of gauge you're going for, it would be anywhere between a 3 and a 5 for more solid stitch pattern. And then if you wanted to go into lace, you could go up to an 8. That would be for knitting. And then crochet in that same range would be around 3mm to 5mm, which would be, what is that, like an F to an H. I mean, it all varies depending on what you're doing and depending on what your gauge is, but it's a #1 fingering weight yarn. So that would be your best guess for starting. So you would, depending on if you wanted to do a solid stitch or if you wanted to do lace. I feel like when you're doing lace, Depends on how open you want your lace work to be. I've done as high as 5mm, 5.5, or 6mm. 5mm is actually a really nice loose gauge for lace with a #1 fingering weight yarn. But if I was doing like a solid pattern, for example, the most recent garment pattern that I released, the Summer Love crochet vest, that one is done with an F hook, 3.75mm crochet hook, and Be So Fine yarn, which is also a #1 fingering weight. Could I give costs on the new colors? All these yarns range between $26 and $30, but if you go to the link on my website, you can see all of my yarns and the prices and the yardage, and all of the details that you need are listed there. And it, like the yardage, everything is wound. I wind everything into a center pull ball before ordering, so you don't have to worry about winding from a hank. I take care of all of that and all the yarns. I know I show it in the hank form like this, but that's just so you can see the colors really well. But I wind everything into center pull balls before shipping. And regarding shipping, ship worldwide too. But now that we brought up fingering weight yarn, I'm glad that someone brought it up, because I wanted to mention a couple other things about the fingering weight yarn. So one thing that I always mention when I'm showing you new colors in a sport weight or in a fingering weight, #1 and #2, is that you can easily substitute Be So Fine and Be So Sporty yarn patterns. And the reason I always say that is because they're my two longest standing yarns, so the longer I've had a yarn, the more pattern support I've created for those yarns, right? So most of my patterns are going to be in the yarns that I've had the longest. So Be So Fine yarn, #1 fingering weight, 100% bamboo, tons of patterns. So when I come out with new #1 fingering weight yarns or new colors in other fingering weight yarns, like the Be So Toasty or the Be So Lush, you can substitute these yarns for the patterns that are written for Be So Fine yarn, because they're all #1 fingering weight yarns. Same goes with Be So Sporty, my #2 sport weight 100% bamboo yarn. I have tons of patterns in Be So Sporty yarn, but if you wanted to substitute Be So Soulful yarn, this one, Be So Soulful yarn, or any of my other #2 sport weight yarns, you could substitute them as well. So the most recent crochet pattern that I released was the Summer Love crochet vest, right? And I did it in a short sleeve version, and I said I was going to do it in a long sleeve version next to show you the options and then create the video series from there. Well, what I wanted to mention tonight is that I did that first one in Be So Fine yarn in colorway Celestial Blue Mist. I don't have it with me tonight. Of course, as I'm getting ready to do the podcast, couldn't find it for the life of me. It's here somewhere, but you know which vest I'm talking about. I wear it all the time. It's the newest pattern that's just released. If you go to my website, you can definitely check it out. It's towards the top of my blog, and it's also towards the top of my pattern shop. Anyway, so I did the first short sleeve version in Be So Fine yarn, and I'm going to do the long sleeve version in one of my other #1 yarns, just to show you that it really does work that easily to substitute. And so the options that I have right now for doing that are, obviously I could do a different colorway of Be So Fine yarn. This is Backyard Bougainvillea in Be So Fine yarn, which is 100% bamboo. And then I have Lucky Bamboo, which is this beautiful green variegated colorway that's Be So Fine Bling yarn, which is 90% bamboo and 10% pure silver, which is just fabulous and gorgeous. And then the other two #1 fingering weight yarns that I have now are Be So Lush, which is organic cotton and bamboo blended together, and then also the Be So Toasty, which is bamboo and merino wool blended together. So next I will be deciding which of these yarns now I'll be using to make the long sleeve version. I think I'm torn between Be So Lush and Be So Toasty, but but until I actually wind it, I guess I've got time to think about it some more. Does anybody have any questions about that? Do you have a clue? Do I have a clue for winding looser? I'm not really sure what you mean, Sandra. I don't know how you're winding, if you're winding by hand, if you're winding with a hand crank, with an automatic crank. There's all sorts of types of winding. Hi, Joanne. Thanks for joining live. Yes, it is getting dark. I told you it would be getting dark. That's why I tried to go a little bit early for a hand crank. What I find is putting tension on the yarn before it goes through the crank. I would not allow your hand crank to be the tension for your yarn. The reason being, depending on how much tension you have on your umbrella swift, as you're hand cranking here, what will happen is if it's having to pull the yarn at all, it's going to add that tension to the wound center pull ball. So as you're hand cranking the winder and your umbrella swift is going in circles here, what you want to do is have this extra hand available for tensioning the yarn. So you're going to tension it so that it goes tighter when the thing's spinning too loosely, and then when this thing slows down, you can stop yourself here before hand cranking to pull it along. If you're hand cranking and pulling the the umbrella swift to create that momentum or gain that momentum back, the action of doing that will make your ball wind too tight. Does that make sense? I'll wait a second to see if I need to elaborate on that more. I'm hoping my hand gestures helped. It should. See if I can make myself any brighter here. It's really getting dark. Does that help, Sandra? Okay, good. Yeah, so use your, whatever hand you're not winding with, use that extra hand for tensioning the yarn. And it'll be for tensioning it in both directions, looser and tighter. You want to stop yourself if your hand cranking is trying to increase the momentum over here. If you're doing that, it's getting too tight, guaranteed. Wait and see if there's any more questions about that. That's a great question. Yeah, I do need to, oh, you know what, there's an outside light I can turn on. That might help. There, that helps. Then at least I'm in a little bit of light. Still getting dark. How long does it take to dye your yarns? I'm not sure what you mean by that. There's a bunch of different steps for dyeing. It takes several days. Jill's at Home Depot. Yeah, kind of hard to watch a podcast from Home Depot. I agree. Oh, I have something new to show you guys tonight. There is the brand new Create, Share, Inspire notebook is now available on Amazon. This is issue 7, and it's a little dark for you to see, but the photo on the cover of this one is a photo from Barefoot Beach that has lots of pale pastels to it, so it's quite a contrast from issue 6, which had all kinds of golds and purples and peaches. This one's definitely more cool tones of pastel blue, purple, and pink. It's really pretty, actually, and you can see it on Amazon. This would be Create, Share, Inspire Notebook, Volume 1, Issue 7, and it is now available on Amazon all over the world. I wish you could see it better. I'll bring it tomorrow morning to the podcast as well so you can see the colors better. Oh, or just go to Amazon. If you go to Amazon and look up the book, you can definitely see it there. It's also available in my Amazon shop, amazon.com/shop/Kristin Omdahl, and that link is in the video description. I'll make a blog post about it too to make it easy to find on my blog. But yes, this one is now available. And what else? What else did I bring over here to show you tonight? Oh, I don't know. Have I mentioned the Knit Vibe book yet? This is the brand new book by Vicki Howell. Did I show this to you guys the other day? I wasn't invited to design anything for the book, but I was. But Drew Emborski, the crochet dude, designed a bag for the book, and he used Be So Tender yarn. Let me see if I can find it. This is sounding vaguely familiar. I think I've mentioned this now. Sometimes I don't remember what I say from one day to the next. There it is. Oh, it's way too dark to do this now. Here's the bag that Drew and Borsky designed with Be So Tender yarn. No, Joanne, you don't remember me showing this? It sounds vaguely familiar that I've talked about it, but maybe I haven't. I'll bring it tomorrow morning then too, so you can see it better in the better light. I'm pretty sure the book is out now. Oh, I mentioned it but didn't show it to you. Okay, then I'll show it again tomorrow morning when it's a little brighter and we can see the pictures better. It's and I will be doing a giveaway for the book too. Oh, I mentioned it but didn't show it. Okay, good. All right, well then I'm not crazy. At least I'm not crazy at the moment. All right, well, let's see. Yes, it has leather handles. It has beads on the fringe, I believe, and it definitely has leather handles. Why don't we read a quote from the brand new Create, Share, Inspire notebook, issue 7. Hopefully I can read in this light. It's a little dark. Okay, I'm going to try to read this. Oh, you know extra animals come out after dark. It gets a little scary. I know we have palm rats and snakes and frogs and all kinds of stuff that come out at night, so hopefully I don't see any, otherwise you're going to get an earful. All right, so this is by Genevieve, oh my goodness, I can't see, Genevieve Barron. We all possess more power and greater possibilities than we realize, and visualizing is one of the greatest of these powers. Absolutely, 100%. And one of the greatest tools for visualizing is writing stuff down, which is one of the main reasons why I started creating the Create, Share, Inspire notebooks. I have been making these DIY for myself for years, and finally putting together in a cute professional bound packaging. I prefer using them this way. It's great and handy for me too, but it's something that I can share with all of you this way as well, and that makes me happy. Okay, so let's read the quote from Genevieve Barron one more time. We all possess more power and greater possibilities than we realize, and visualizing is one of the greatest of these powers. Absolutely, that is such a great quote. Does anybody have any other questions for me? No, this one has a different set of pictures. This one I drew daisies around the quotes. Can you see the daisies? I'll show them again tomorrow morning. So I drew these little daisies, which I thought with the long petals was another great flower to be able to draw and doodle around when you're quieting your mind before writing in the journal. Every issue has a different hand-drawn design frame around the quotes. All right, well, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy evening to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunset, the sharing of all the new colors of yarn, the chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.